Well, God bless you, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining me this morning right here on the set of Kingdom Voice. My name is Apostle Lance Bellany, and as always, it is my pleasure to have you here with us to join us as we journey together into the kingdom, as we share truths of the kingdom from an apostolic perspective. And as you can see, I'm once again on location as my travel schedule for the weekend required me to be away from the studio. But thank goodness for technology, and we can join you and share with you as Elohim has given to us to do so. Um, and I will tell you in advance that I'm going to be traveling again on this coming weekend, and so um, we're hoping to bring you a broadcast as well. And I may in fact have a guest host to take over for me, as I think it might be a little bit difficult for me to share on next weekend. But anyway, having said that, I want to invite all of you to connect with me, and all of you that are joining in. Thank you so very much. And if you'd like to connect with us, I'm going to give you my email address and invite you and really encourage you to reach out and connect with us in that way. The email address is lcbellany@yahoo.com, lcbellany@yahoo.com, and Bellany is spelled Belloney, lcbelloney@yahoo.com. Um, and I would really love to hear from you. And I want to thank all of you that contributed and shared with us in your support since last we spoke. So thank you so very much. It means a tremendous to us. It is tremendous to us for you to share and to contribute to the support of the broadcast here at Kingdom Voice. Um, and so thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. Aslam, thank you for joining from Pakistan. I really appreciate it, brother. I really appreciate you taking some time. I know it's a huge time difference. I think it's almost 10 hours time difference between here and Pakistan. So thank you so very much for joining and being a part of the broadcast. Um, and all of you that are checking in. Pastor Lewis, good morning. Thank you so very much, brother, for taking a few minutes. Andrea, thank you as well. I really appreciate you all checking in. And for those of you that are watching, feel free to share your thoughts, your comments. I want you to know not only are they welcomed, but they are encouraged. Hey, Gary, God bless, brother. Good morning. Lady Jolynn, thank you so very much for being such an encouragement to me. I really appreciate your person and your presence. And so thank you for checking in. Again, it means so much to us to dialogue with you. One thing about this journey that we're on, it is just that, a journey. We are blazing a trail into a territory that has yet been unexplored. We're going into territory. Um, we're going into territories that are uncharted. There is no roadmap here. There is no roadmap where we're going. We're trusting Elohim. We're trusting what Elohim is directing us to do. I'm not forcing anyone. I'm not badgering anyone. Um, I'm just encouraging you to be bold and to take this journey with me. Um, Elohim is our uh, Godhead. They are our parents. They're our mother and father, and we together are journeying as a family. They've not abandoned us. We're not out here by ourselves. We're out here with them, learning who they are from a perspective that has yet to, in many instances, have yet to be unveiled. And we are moving with them with full assurance at all times that they will never leave us, never forsake us, and they are with us because they dwell with us. They've taken up their habitat, their abode with us. And so that's the journey that we're on. And so I said that to emphasize that this is uncharted waters. We are going to learn, experience, engage the creation and the creator together. We're going to break the shackles. We're breaking the shackles off of our journey from the preconceived, pre-established notions that have been delivered to us from wherever we came, from whatever perspective of religion we came, and we are journeying forward. And for some of us, that journey is far more aggressive than others. For some of us, yes, we are being encouraged to abandon that which we left. Okay, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We're encouraged to abandon it, let it go, begin to embrace Elohim on the basis that they are unveiling themselves to us right now. And for some of us, that very notion that I just articulated is frightful. How can we abandon what we had? Well, for some people, the question is, how can you not abandon where you are? Because it's a shackle rather than a vehicle. Okay. And for others, it is so unthinkable to abandon where we came from that the very notion becomes terrifying. But that's why we're here together, to encourage, to nurture, to impart, that we can all be comfortable wherever Elohim is taking us and sharing and moving us and directing us. So I just wanted to share that as we get started this morning. Today I want to talk about shifting your mindset to maximize your purpose. Shifting your mindset to maximize your purpose. And that's a lot of what I kind of, the opening monologue was about, was shifting your mindset. Because one of the things that we have to understand is that how we think dictates so much about where we go, who we become, and what we're able to accomplish and to do. Okay, how we think. I'm reminded of something that significantly shifted my life. This was over 30 years ago. I was sitting in my, it's almost 40 years ago now. I was sitting in my living room watching a program, and it just happened to be being presented by Dr. Miles Monroe. And Dr. Monroe was talking about the purpose of a thing. And he began to articulate and share and present on that topic. And one of the things that he began to talk about was a vase. There was this vase that was created for royalty. And the craftsman meticulously crafted this vase. And it was intended for the glory of the recipient. It was intended to reflect the recipient's majesty and the recipient's grandeur. And finally, they completed that vase and presented it to the royalty. And the royalty was so impressed by that vase, it made it the centerpiece of the entrance to the palace. And that vase stood as the first thing that you saw when you entered the palace. And it was protected by guards to make sure that it was not damaged. And it was absolutely the centerpiece of the royalty's invitation to people to come to the palace. So when they came, that's the first thing they saw. Time would have it that the kingdom would fall. And those that seized the kingdom did not regard that vase very highly. And as a matter of time and as a matter of course, the purpose of that vase was lost to antiquity. Soon the vase began to be used as a base for a table, and completely disregarded, completely ignored as a matter of daily course. The vase became something of obscurity. And Dr. Miles Monroe went on to share about that vase, and he said, and this is where I want to pick up on today's presentation: when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse of that thing is inevitable. When you don't know your purpose, abuse of your talent, abuse of your value, abuse of your purpose is inevitable. You will allow people to abuse your talent, misuse your talent, devalue your talent and ability and capability. You will allow people to misuse that when royalty is waiting on you, when royalty is begging for you, when royalty is spending thousands and millions of dollars to acquire what you have. But because you don't know your purpose, you've settled for the abuse of your real value by those that don't know your value. That's a fine line that takes discipline, that takes purpose and understanding of my purpose. It takes tenacity. It takes an unwavering commitment to not devalue who I am. If I know I am worth millions, I'm not settling for you to give me thousands. I'm not settling for you to pay me thousands when I am worth millions. When you are in demand, then you make demands. So let me give a bit of process, Pastor Lewis. Let me give a bit of process to this. When you are establishing your purpose, intricate to that process is establishing your value. And there are times, and there is a part of that process where my value and my purpose are somewhat out of sync. And so my effort is to bring my value to my purpose and bring them together and to make them coherent and uniform with each other, so that as my value or as my purpose increases, so does my value. Okay. As the demand for what I have and who I am becomes more and more, then I begin to make demands upon the acquisition of my talent and my ability and my knowledge and my experience. I begin to make demands on that. Okay. When you're in demand, you can make demands. Right. But it all begins with me understanding my purpose. So let me go back a little bit and talk about that. Because for many of us, the conditioning, the programming, and some would even dare say the brainwashing that took place within our religious confines has led us to look at Elohim in a certain way, look at Messiah in a certain way, and look at ourselves in a certain way. And you've heard me talk about on this program so many times how that we've been made to look at ourselves as something less than our Lord, Yeshua. Okay. And I've labored intently and intensely to help you understand that the only distinction between you and Messiah is the fact that Messiah is the firstborn. Messiah is the Savior. I'm not. But outside of that, there is no distinction between me and Messiah. I was never called to worship Messiah. You were never called to worship Messiah. You were called to become a son. We reverence, absolutely. I've said again, what Christianity has done is that Christianity has taken the message of Messiah and turned it into the religion about Messiah. Those are two vastly different things, two significantly, drastically different things. And what most people do on a Sunday morning, like we're doing right now today, is that they're running off to these establishments so that they can be told how to worship Messiah, how to let Messiah do it for them, how to let Messiah be their light. When that is none of what Messiah has come and came to do. Messiah came to be a light so that you could see how to be the light. I'm gonna say that again. Messiah came to be a light and be the light so that you could see how that and how to become the light. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. Okay. And all I'm encouraging and advocating is that we learn how, in fact, to become and embrace the purpose that we have been positioned for. If I asked any of you what the purpose of Messiah is, you'd be able to rattle it off just like that. Why? Because you've been taught it, you've been told it, you've been nurtured in it, you've been conditioned in it, and all of the above. But if I asked and challenged you about what is your purpose, then you'd have to stumble and stammer and quiver at the mouth about what that purpose is. Why? Because you've never really engaged Elohim to understand that purpose and your purpose. Okay. So I'm talking today about shifting your mindset, changing your mindset to maximize your purpose. So one of the things I want to encourage you to understand is that what Elohim desires of you, in particular in this season, is for you to begin to recognize that you are the son that they sent for a particular purpose and reason in your season. You're that son and daughter, by the way. You're that heir that they've sent. They didn't send you to worship anyone. They sent you to become someone. I don't know what that is. You have to take that up with Elohim. They sent you to become someone. Don't allow the shackles of religion, don't allow the shackles of Christianity, of Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam to shackle you to where you can't, and you are so constrained by the conditions that other men have set that you cannot be at liberty to embrace what Elohim is establishing in you, what the Creator is establishing in you. Changing your mindset. You've heard me talk a lot on this broadcast about shifting your paradigm, your expectations, the way you view and see and engage with your daily lives. Okay? Shifting that away from these constricting rituals that you are confined with. Some would say, well, Apostle, what are some of those constricting rituals? The first thing that I would really encourage you to do, and I'm going to say this to you, is to put your Bibles down and begin to engage in an intimate journey, an intimate engagement with Elohim. Stop trying to make Elohim speak to you according to what you understand is written. Allow Elohim to say to you what they want to say to you when they get ready to say it. Because for many of us, if I cannot corroborate what Elohim is saying with what is written in the Bible, then I don't believe what I'm hearing. I believe what's written. And the only reason what's written has gained such a grip on you is because you see other people have done it, and other people have done it for so long that now that plays a part in your thinking that that must be the way to go. That's not necessarily so. I've been watching. I'm an outdoorsman at heart. Grew up in Southwest Louisiana and did a lot of hunting and fishing and when I was growing up, a lot of sports, so an outdoorsman. And lately I've been watching a lot of videos on trapping wild boar in Louisiana and Texas and so forth. And there's an interesting dynamic when you watch that process unfold. A single boar can lead a herd to a trap. Get trapped and other things happen after they're trapped, but to their slaughter, actually. A single boar can lead others in that path. There's tribal think, group think that takes place in that herd. And for many believers, that's exactly what has happened. Because we've seen others do it for so long, and because it is written about what others have done for so long, we tribally enter into groupthink and tribal think, and we go right along with it, assuming that that is what Elohim, and convincing ourselves that that is what Elohim wants from me. Never taking the time to stop and ask the question, is that what you want from me? So yes, I'm encouraging you, put your Bible down, close it, put it in the drawer for a season, at least. And if you're anything like me, you will pull that Bible out less and less and less, and you will begin to rely on what you are hearing Elohim say more and more and more. So that's the first thing as a part of the process of shifting your paradigm, shifting your mindset, okay? Because we are so conditioned about what's written that literally what's written becomes the fact checker for God, for Elohim. So in essence, Elohim can't say something to you until you fact check it by what's written. Let me tell you about what's written. One of the things that you have to understand is that the canon, what's written, the scriptural content was written by roughly 35 plus people. The numbers are a little unknown because sometimes you question if one writer wrote this versus another writer, but in general, about 35 plus people, individuals are credited for having written the scriptures. That's it. Okay, 35 people. And of that, and in that process, now 35 people have collectively reflected the entirety of the purpose of Elohim for all of humanity until Messiah returns. That's what people are saying. That's the mindset that has really impacted believers. 35 people are dictating what untold millions of people are believing. And we don't know, and I'm not going to get into that. That's a discussion for another day. And we don't know the validity of what we actually have as it relates to the factualness, the accuracy of what is written. So, Apostle, what are you saying? Put it down. That's what I'm saying. Put it down. And begin, there's a B right here in front of me, so bear with me. Put it down and allow Elohim to speak to you and to say to you what they want you to begin to understand. And the beauty of that will be that you will begin to understand your purpose. You will begin to understand your purpose and be able to walk according to that purpose with confidence, with assurance, okay, with conviction and passion. This is what I want to encourage you today. And this is why we're talking about shifting your mindset to maximize your purpose. Okay? Shifting your mindset. Because not all of us are called to preach the gospel. Some of us are called to just minister to people. Okay? In sports, in academics, in teaching, in finances. Some of us are called to minister to people. Okay? And as a part of ministering to people, your needs will be met. As a part of ministering to people, your needs will be met. And this is what Elohim wants you to begin to recognize. Another area of shifting your mindset that you really have to begin to understand is that you are growing and maturing in Elohim, in your personal being, and you are being empowered to address and to impact your circumstances yourself. We spend time with Elohim in prayer. We spend time in meditation and intimate engagement with Elohim. Absolutely. Absolutely. And as we are engaged with Elohim in that process, okay, Elohim speaks to us and Elohim shares and gives us insight. We engage this life on the basis of being empowered, and thus we go out and do these things that have need to be done. You remember when Yeshua, according to scriptures, chided the disciples because they could not cast out the demon, i.e., and emphasize they could not cast out the demon. What religion has done has turned you doing it into God or Jesus or Yeshua doing it for you. That's where religion has failed us. That's where Christianity and Islam and Hinduism and Buddhism have failed us. They have failed us because they have made us rely on others and something outside of me to do this for me. What Elohim did was send the sacrifice that allowed us to be in the family. As I said, Yeshua came to be a light, to show us that we are lights. Okay? He was sent to be salt, to show us that we are salt. He was sent to be a son, to show us that we can be sons and daughters, heirs. And instead, what we did was what we made Yeshua the focus, and we neglected the focus that was being placed on us. So I want to go back to what I was just saying. We spend so much time asking, begging Jesus, Yeshua, God, Elohim to fix it, to do it, to make a way for us, that we've neglected to understand that we are that way. We are the fix. We are the answer. We are that which the world is looking for. We are that. Instead of you becoming that, maximizing your purpose, maximizing what you've been sent to do, you have relegated yourself to be the recipient of someone doing it for you. Shifting your mindset is going to require a lot of us to understand that this season, Elohim is less interested in doing it for you as much as Elohim wants to show you to do it for yourself. I've got several grandchildren at different stages. One of my grandchildren is 15 years old, and he's at that age now to where he really has to begin to learn how to do things for himself, not just feed himself. He's figured all of that out. I'm talking about more mature things for himself. One of the conversations that I'm having with him, because I'm such an intimate part of his growth right now, one of the things that I'm emphasizing with him is that my reaction, my interaction with you is changing. It is changing because my expectations of you are changing. My expectations of you are changing because I know that my time with you is limited. And you need to understand, one, how to be a man, two, how to take care of yourself as a man, three, how to take care of others that will come into your trust as a man. What it means to be a man. Okay? So now I'm demanding of him more than I demanded of him when he was younger, when he was his little brother's age at 5 and 7 and 8 years old. Okay? And it's not a lights on, lights off. It's a gradual increase of responsibility and accountability. And in this season, one of the things that Elohim is emphasizing with all of us that are the heirs of the kingdom is the responsibility to begin to impact this world yourself. Is a responsibility for changing and shifting the issues and the injustices and the wrongs of this world yourself. You begin to shift the needle. You begin to make a difference. You begin to make the adjustments that are required to bring about harmony, unity, purpose in the earth. And this is something that you must begin to do, is what Elohim is releasing for those of us that are the heirs of the kingdom. And this is something that you need to begin to understand. Okay? Because the hour for you to just wait for Jesus to do it for you, some of you are still there. Wait for Elohim to come and fix it. Wait for Yeshua to come and fix it and do it and make a way and provide and give you a job and bring a husband or a wife or bring a car or a house or all of these things. The time is over. This is a time of maturation, maturing. And for those of you that will mature, for those of you that will embrace your maturation, you will begin to experience the kingdom, this life, this created place, existence that that the Creator has established in a far different way than those that do not. You'll begin to receive and be the creative mindset. You'll begin to be the ingenious mindset. This is what I want to begin to encourage you to recognize, beloved. This is where the kingdom is. And in order to embrace that kind of engagement with your kingdom journey, you're going to have to shift your mindset. You're going to have to shift your paradigm in order to do so. I've said this and I'll repeat myself. Some of you are teachers And teaching, just like religion, often comes with its own set of groupthink, with its own set of tribal thinking. Some of you are being challenged to bring about a new paradigm. And your response might be, well, there's this big conglomerate that we have to deal with. Be that as it may, it doesn't change your purpose. What you need to figure out is, how do I position myself, my argument or my idea in such a way that it moves those that hear it to understand this must be done. It's not just a good thing to be done, it's a must thing to be done. That's where Elohim, and that's where the spirit of wisdom and knowledge begins to invade your space and your person, to give you the witty idea or the witty understanding or the witty wisdom to pass on your idea and your intent to make a difference and to make a change and to make a shift. That's not just in teaching. That's also in banking, finance, technology, a business. It doesn't matter. And this is where we have to really begin to engage ourselves in shifting our mindsets to maximize our purpose. Otherwise, what we'll find ourselves doing and what we'll find ourselves engaged in is nothing more than just going along, waiting for Jesus to return, waiting for Yeshua to return. And then as Yeshua return, as that process goes on, we live, we die, and then we go to heaven. That's what everybody wants to do. I believe, beloved, that Elohim has something far greater in purpose for us than just live, die, and go to heaven. This world is in desperate need of the mature heirs of the kingdom. This place is in dire need of mature heirs of the kingdom. And in order to do that, you have to embrace the Creator at a place well beyond any of your religious beliefs, anywhere beyond your religious constraints. You have to begin to engage the Creator. There's one thing I've understood. I was watching a program the other day, and it really helped me understand how different cultures see religion and how different cultures see life. And one of the things that I absolutely walked away from with that program is that every culture understands that there is a Creator. Every culture, not everybody in the culture, but every culture understands that there is a Creator. I believe the idea, the understanding, the intrinsic knowledge of the Creator was placed in every person from the moment humanity was created. And that idea, that knowledge, that intrinsic knowledge permeates society at every level. Industrialized society, developed, undeveloped, industrialized, it doesn't matter. The fact and the truth of the Creator is intrinsically and inherently in every culture and in every people. Okay? When I began to understand that, then I began to understand that the very core, the basis of an engagement with the Creator is an understanding that they are. And what religion has done is religion has come and stepped in to be the surrogate between the individual and the Creator. And what I'm advocating for you and encouraging you is to get rid of the surrogate, and you and the creator begin to engage with each other on that basis. That's what I'm advocating. I'm advocating that the creator has made provision for you. The creator has made provision for you to be able to engage with them on an intimate basis so that they can release you to become or to experience the full purpose of your being. That's what this today's broadcast is all about. It's all about you embracing the full purpose of your being and for the reason of being, why you're placed here. And let me say something that's very important for those of us that may be of age, getting up in age. We've been conditioned to think that we've been conditioned to think that age has something to do with everything. Okay? I beg to differ. I believe maturation has something to do with everything. And age is not an indicator of maturity. We see it all the time. How many old people have you seen trying to act or acting immature? And how many younger people have you seen being mature beyond their years? Age has nothing to do with it, but maturity has everything to do with it. This is a season of maturing. And if you will embrace your maturation, you will embrace your purpose. You will understand your purpose. Pastor Milton Lewis once said to me that learning is a good thing. Learning, and I took that to heart, and I embraced that as coming from Elohim to me, just happened to come through him. Learning is a good thing. And it shifted my paradigm. It shifted the way I thought in reference to learning. So much so, I want to encourage you with this. I really hope you embrace this. I am 62 years of age. I know I look younger, but anyway, I'm 62 years of age. About 4 years ago, I decided to make an intellectual shift in my career, in my professional life, and that I would make a shift to redefine my professional focus. I went from being an engineer, mechanical engineer, to being someone that was educated and knowledgeable of digital technology. And for those of you that may not fully understand what that means, let me just give some context. It's a drastic shift it's like going from being a baseball player and then later in life you decide you want to be a football player. It's that kind of shift. Okay, because those two things that have little in common. They have some things in common, obviously, but they have little in common in terms of the way you engage the sport. And that's what I decided to do. I said that to simply say this. It had nothing to do with my age. It had everything to do with my mindset and my intent and what I saw as the need for what I wanted to do. And as a result of that, I was able to engage and I was able to really make a shift. And I want to encourage all of you. I really want to encourage all of you. We're going to get to some of your comments. And by the way, for those of you that would like to make to share your thoughts and comments, please do. I noticed several of you have already done so. And thank you so very much, Pastor Lewis and Bilal and Mohammed. Thank you so very much for your comments. We're going to get to them in just a second. But for many of you, now is the time for you to begin to shift your paradigm to maximize your purpose. Age is not the issue. Intent and maturity are the issue. Is it something you want to do? I believe, and I'm going to be bold here and say this. As you shift your mind, you will shift your health. You will shift your physical health. Because as your mind becomes in tune with the purpose of Elohim, then your body must follow and participate and be a part of that. And Elohim will allow your body to respond to the renewed purpose that you have in your life. Amen. Let's take a look at a couple of your comments. Some of these are quite lengthy, so I'm going to just bear with me here. If we lack a life purpose, our abilities and talents may be consumed by others. However, if we possess a purpose, we become vessels for the light that guides us as we turn into pens wielded by Elohim. Eloah. To inscribe a divine narrative of existence. But here's a revelation. The light you carry, you'll eventually discover, is nothing more than an illusion. In reality, you've been the author of your own life story from the very beginning. Muhammad, that is the reality. The illusion oftentimes comes from, listen to me closely, the distraction of religion. You're absolutely correct. I want to read the last part that you wrote, but here is the revelation. The light you carry, you'll eventually discover, is nothing more than an illusion. In reality, you've been the author of your own life story from the beginning. That's exactly the point that I'm driving at, is you are that reality. You are the author of that life all along. We've just allowed the surrogacy of religion and others and the influence of others to distract us from that reality. And so thank you, Muhammad, for sharing that thought. And I would encourage all of us to understand and begin to recognize that you are that author and you've been endowed with that by the Creator. Okay. When I get back, and Pastor Lewis, I'm going to get to your comment here. When I get back, between now and the next time that I have to share with you, I really want to talk about the impact of Messiah, why there is a need for a Messiah, what is the purpose of the Messiah, and what is the result of us engaging with Messiah. I'm going to dig into that and really begin to present that for us. I know the narratives. I know the Christian narrative. I know the Hindu narrative. I know the Islamic narrative. I understand that, but I want to convince myself and thereby encourage you to convince yourselves. Okay. Pastor Milton Lewis says, as parents and grandparents, just like teachers, we have a responsibility to facilitate and model that maturity in our children and students. If we don't, no one else will. It's our purpose. Absolutely. You know, when you look at, as I said at the very beginning, when the purpose of a thing is not known, Pastor Lewis, the abuse of that thing is inevitable. People are losing, have lost, right, the real intent and purpose of the teacher. There's an old adage that goes, okay, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? Part of us and our responsibility is to encourage the student to go right back to something you said, Pastor Lewis, that learning is a good thing. Learning will promote learning. I'm not talking about this institutional education. I'm talking about learning, intimately, intrinsically learning. something, whatever that is a good thing, because now you have knowledge of that thing, not training, or rather not just being able to recite something. You intrinsically understand it and know it. That's learning. Learning is a good thing. And in so learning, you begin to be able to impose that on others that you engage with and others that you encounter. Okay? So learning is a good thing. That's our purpose as parents and as teachers and as grandparents, to teach, to help them learn. And teaching isn't always talking. Teaching, in many instances, more than anything, is example leading, is being an example. Okay? One of the things as a leader, I often share my thoughts and philosophy as a leader. And one of the things that I encourage people to understand about a leader is that a leader's job is to impart to everyone that all of us have a job to do to achieve the end goal that we're seeking to achieve. My job happens to be at a certain place. Your job happens to be at a certain place. And we all must do our jobs. Okay? And if we will do our jobs and own that responsibility, then we will achieve our goal. Okay? We all have a purpose, our job. We all have a purpose. Elohim has a purpose, right? We have a purpose. But if we try to throw our responsibility upon Elohim, the purpose and the goal and the effort breaks down. We've got to begin to learn, what is it that Elohim expects of me? That's where your mindset comes in. That's where your intimacy comes in. That's where your willingness to hear what Elohim has to say comes in. Then you'll be able to shift your mindset, maximize your purpose, and achieve your goal. Amen. Well, listen, beloved, thank you so very much for the last 52 minutes. I really appreciate it. And if anyone has a comment that you'd like to make, please feel free to do so. We've got a few more minutes before we close, but I want to invite all of you to, once again, connect with me. And you can see on your screen the different means by which you can do so. You can see email, our website. You can mail us at 214 Remington Road, Huntsville, Texas, 77340. Or you can connect with us on the podcast. We're actively, and this is why I ask for your support, we're actively engaging our podcast to update it. It's been a minute since we've been able to update it, but there is content on our podcast that's on the Spotify platform. So again, we really encourage you all to connect with us. And for those of you that would feel so inclined to make a contribution, you can do so either via the Cash App platform or PayPal. And you can see our handles at both of those on each of those platforms. And again, so thank you so very much. It really means a lot to us to have you here with us, engaged with us on a weekly basis. As I said earlier, we are going to really dig into the Messiah, the purpose of Messiah, the impact of Messiah, and how we engage with Messiah as it relates to the Creator. We're going to dig into that. I know the narrative. I know the whole Christian narrative is. I certainly know that because that's where I came from. And there are others religions out there, Hinduism, as I've often talked, the big five, if it's allow me to say it that way, and how they've approached Messiah in their engagements. So again, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. It means a lot for me to have you here with us on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, to join us on the broadcast. And if there are no more questions at this point, I want to say thank you all so very much. We'll be back again next week. I'm almost certain we'll have to have a guest host. Haven't finalized that yet, but we will. And I'd like for you to join in because hopefully I'll bring forward someone that will have just the same passion and engagement that you received from me. And so maybe even better than me. So I just want you to join in with them as they share as well next weekend. Amen. Well, listen, beloved, until then, I'm going to ask you to be well, be blessed, and join me again right here next week at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for another broadcast of Kingdom Voice. Amen. Until then, be well, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.